Agriculture in Patigi could be split into two sections. One, we are merged to northern Nigeria in settlement, and we resided in the riverine areas. In terms of upland plantings, we are very good in Patigi. At the same time, in Fadama, that is rice production area, we are number one in Kwara State, despite some factors influence us not to perform. One, we have much land, but in modern mechanized farming, we are not encouraged because we have no manpower, that is machineries to work with. We don't have much machineries provided by government, and that is why up till now we refuse to grow, not even developing. We refuse to grow in agriculture. But despite that, we are still fast producing, say, something like rice production in Kwara State. Patigi should not be left out. That is why I've said in two aspects, the government has not done what they're supposed to do. Like back to 1972, we have what we call rice mill at Patigi. They don't distone, they only mill. You understand? So not now that, say back to 5 years time now, that individual has distoner machines. Like when I was still with Federal Minister of Agric, we connive with this Ninkam at Ilorin that, brings some this distoner milling rice machines. And up to now, it's up to 1.5, 1.6 million naira now, which a peasant farmer cannot afford to buy. And that is why, and the threshing system is poor. At those days, that we just use manual thresh, we thresh with hand. We beat by beating rice at the farm without spraying a tarpaulin. A poor man cannot purchase a tarpaulin, and that is why we mix a stone and the real rice.
Aside from rice, what other produce do you do in large?
We are very good in we produce much G-nut, granite, and even guinea corn and maize. In fact, let me say in total, all crops grows fine in Patigi because we have very rich soil sampling in Patigi. We have 3 districts in Patigi. Let me start from Bada, which has the largest farm or land. They produce much. Coming to Patigi, Patigi has very little limited land. Followed by Lade. Lade has exhausted almost of their land because in early time they are very good in agricultural setup by having this Duku scheme, which they have access to tractors. And in tractorization, when you use machinery in soil, often it loses the aeration of the soil. The soil structure, the soil structure will not be fine again. So it will not enable you bringing up a reasonable seeds again because it has lost the profiles. You see, when you hear agriculture, we start from site, selection of site. From there, you talk of land preparation. Now government will be bringing funds to these our people, especially when politics is now at hand, promising them. Somebody that will borrow you money or will lend you money for agriculture purpose, by now already the money should have been with you. So that you do what we call proper land preparation. That is, when you hear land preparation, we'll be talking of land clearing. You employ laborers. Without that, you have very little farm to clear because of the stress, because of the hard work in farm. Now, all what our people do those days, we have what we call Gaya. We call it Joro in Nupe land. What is Joro? When we say 10 people now, we now meet, agreed. You go to my farm today, in turn next tomorrow we go to his own. That is how we start producing all crops in Nupe land before. We have no tractor, no government aid. And the policy now they will bring will not favor our people. Like 5 years ago, I retrieved almost 4 billion naira for federal government in Shonga. They borrowed them money to establish this dry season farming. But before the money comes now, it meets up with a rainy season farming. So they use that money for rainy season, anchoring people borrow something. So the government, the federal government has fought, not giving the farmers the money in time. And the farmers themselves has fought of using money for dry season for wet season. So both of them we now argue it up and let them know that government doesn't lose. It's only the poor man that loses. So we are now pleading with federal government to just write off or waive out that money for them. That is how I technically fight it off for them. Because, and you know, the Kwara state structure at the start is the poorest state that will refuse to bring their what we call counterpart fund. 1992, I opened a farm in NADA. I work with NADA, National Land Agricultural Development. 500 hectares from Rifun, Tangpafu, Motoku. Is all cashew. And we planted what we call Brazilian cashew. It's a hybrid of cashew. You understand? So federal government will bring 75%. The state, which the farm situated now will bring its own 25%. In total, 100%. But hardly Kwara state government will bring its own counterpart fund. So instead of we using the local government registered farmers, we use our own federal government registered farmers. Otherwise, we don't own farmers. It's the grassroots that is the local government. They are to fund their farmers because they are nearer to their farmers. But due to that history I'm now telling you, so when we bring fertilizer, like 5 years ago before I retired, I brought up to 2, 3, 4 trailers of fertilizer, 15 trailers of fertilizer, both urea and NPK to my people here. I brought 2 dams. I went to Abuja to struggle with the water resources, and they gave me 2 dams. I carry one to my village, Bada. It's in progress now, which could serve from Bada to Abuja, that dam. The other one, I completed it at Eche there, but it was rubbish. They don't want it to function due to our culture, our Nupe culture, you know. And since then, we've been writing for them to rehabilitate it. Because we constructed the same thing at Jabi, which could be used for festivals. We carry our people here to Jabi to play on that dam. And we rear some these big animals like crocodile. We rear some big fish there, which could be used for also money to the society. to generate money to the society. But government factors influence all these things you are saying. Otherwise, in the Patigi local government today, when you talk of granite, we are. When you talk of rice, we are. Sorghum, that is maize, guinea corn, we are, because we are fertilized. Even the non-indigenous people like Fulanis, they are typical forest. They farm more than even we, the owner of yes, of the land. But government policy, they are very good in making policy, but implementation and following up is not there. And that is why we are still where we are. And finally, you found out poverty will never allow our people to keep their product to a time. And maybe I will say finally, storage in agriculture, which is much a very big problem to a farmers. Storage, we don't know the importance of warehouse. We cannot keep some of like mangoes. In other advanced countries we've been to, we see where they bleed these mangoes. They will use it for even 2-3 years. But when it ripes here, and you see, they will just consume it once, or this breeze will come and destroy the rest. They don't have no technical out to stop. So those are the factors that hinder growth of the agricultural setup in Patigi. I was the first project manager posted from Abuja to Tampafu. And our blueprint that time, cashew, we have 7, or let me say, I will explain 5 fully to you what we have in cashew. You understand? We produce what we call a cashew drink. We have what we call a brick pad, is from cashew. We have indelible ink used for signing currency, for all these things, is from cashew. When they are old, we use it as fuel, that is for burning our preparing food, firewood, fuel. But you find out that the cashew extractor machine is not. We don't have it. We have our farms in Kwara State in 2 locations. We have one in Patigi local government, that is Rifun, Motokun, Tampafu. The second site is in Elebu. When you are near Okeoyi, you go to Lanwa, those sides. You bust out at Bode. That is where our second site was. But up till now, I'm telling you, they don't have cashew extractor. They only benefit in 2 aspects. One, the cashew seeds. They sell it out at giveaway price. Otherwise, in our blueprint, we said we are going to construct primary school for them. We do the feeder roads, that is, we construct that roads from there for them and for the communities where these farms are sited, because we claim this land from them, develop it, plant the cashew seedling for them, and now share back to the owners, the land owners, not the federal government owning it. Like now, I still go there to assess the farm for them, because of what we call fire tracing. We don't want fire to enter into cashew plantation. But you find out federal government instead now bringing this cashew extractor to produce this cashew juice. Instead of selling them 50 naira, the person will just take his nut and throw the rest away. Or the Fulanis, even in the bush now, they don't know the importance of the cashew. They went and just destroy anyhow. So government we are now pleading to them to bring cashew extractor machines to encourage these peasant farmers and now pick some of their boys in that society. That is our agreement initially, before now politics come and dump these ideas away. My ears, Professor Lombi is now in Rome, the same agriculture setup in Nada we have in Nigeria. He now took it there to Israel and to even Rome. There is the same system they are using. We work with land development. The same thing in Green Revolution those days. This is how they bring fine ideas, but they will never follow up. So we are pleading to federal government, both to the state government, that when they bring a project, they should monitor and bring funds to them at the appropriate time. When somebody is feeling hungry and you have just gari, you give him gari that time, he's going to be satisfied. But after he has managed himself to take much water and you bring in, you bring now pandaya to him, it will have no meaning to him. Work done zero. Instead of now wasting money doing some certain things in this politics set of things, they can now buy these machines like these tractors to each ward. You give them loan. Those days, 500,000 will give you a new tractor. But themselves, the farmers, abuse that opportunity given to them because they refuse to pay back. And that is why some system, when they set it up, it fails. Fertilizer. They should, in some areas, we don't need fertilizer. Especially Patigi local government, some areas we don't need fertilizer because they are very fine, good soil for growing anything. But some areas like Ladi side, like in Patigi, they need much fertilizers. And those are the aspects, the factors federal government, both federal government and state government has problem. Even local government is their fault. We don't have information department in local government again, telling our peasant farmers what to do or when to start. Already, as you are seeing me, I've cleared all where I'm going to plant granite now. I've completed it. I'm now waiting for rain. You can see some of my tractor machines here. I've serviced them down now. But when you are not borrowed money, when you want to use it, after the money comes, you mismanage. We call it misemployment. An history man carried to bank to work. He knows how to write, yes, and he's educated, but he doesn't know how to fix figures, and where to do it, to balance sheet.